Hello, everyone. I am typing my message in, and then I will be able to focus on what I'm doing here. There we go. Okay. Hello and welcome. Coming into being, here we are again. So, uh, coming into being, just that space to take that time for ourselves. Hey, Roma. And just really connect in and just give ourselves that time just to be connecting with ourselves. That's the most important thing we can do. And once we take that moment, and it can be just 5 minutes, and here I provide the space for about a half an hour or so for us to do this together as a group. It's always nice to come in a group and have kind of the same focus because that amplifies the hello from London. Yes, uh, up there. Hope everything's well in London. It's been kind of exciting lately, hasn't it, up there? But yeah, just it's nice to have that group, so that kind of amplifies the space for us, and it's nice to just have other people uh, to be in that same space. So we're gonna just jump right in as soon as the bell stops ringing. I'm right by the church tower here, so we get the hour and the half hour rung every day. Like I don't know how long they've been doing that. It's funny how things kind of feel like they aren't changing, and maybe that's the theme today to kind of shift. We go through these stages of feel like we're moving, we're getting somewhere, and then there's these other times where you feel like nothing has changed. And in some ways, it's kind of interesting because you can uh, get that feel. That's happened to me in different places where I look around me. It's like, wow, people have been living the exact same way for hundreds of years. And the vehicles have changed, instead of walking or horses or carts, and it's now cars and mopeds and all that stuff, kind of thing. But it's all kind of the same thing, and it gives this feeling it's like nothing's really changed. So it can be really hard to feel ourselves. Hi, Asta. It can feel really hard sometimes in this moment. Like you feel like you're putting in all this hard work, and it's just not getting you anywhere. So that seems like that's going to be the focus today. So my throat's a little dry. Been going through some old stuff where I'm living. So, anyways, let's take a nice deep breath in and just kind of give yourself a big sigh. Just let it all out, release out. Let's do another one. So, you just take a nice deep, big breath. And then at the top of the breath, go like take another couple deep breaths, or just not necessarily deep, but and that'll get you simulating a yawn. And that's kind of a nice little tension relaxer, just kind of release. Coming into your breath, coming into that, just that movement of the torso, that expansion in all directions. If you're feeling it more like to the sides, kind of bring in the front and back, and vice versa, so that it's you feel it all around. Letting yourself settle. If your feet are not on the floor, I think you might want to do that. There's a reason for that. It's very different to sit cross-legged. It has a different impact on your energetic system than if you have your feet on the floor. And with your feet on the floor, letting yourself just kind of drop in to the core. And it's kind of like there's this plumb line that goes all the way through you down, connecting you into the core of the earth. And lately it's been, well, lately for about a year, easily, it's been the new earth is that we connect into that higher vibrational level, higher consciousness that even the earth is stepping into. So let yourself kind of tune into that plumb line. It's like the straight line. A plumb line is like there's a little weight at the end of a string that it's usually it's used in engineering and buildings and architecture and all that, and it shows you if the line is straight. So, like if you were to go to the Tower of Pizza and hold it, you'll have the tower like this and the plumb line going straight down, kind of thing, just to accentuate that visual for you. So, yeah, so that plumb line. So, get that image in your mind, and you might even feel it going through your body. And let's get everybody. Some people are a little off in some parts of their bodies, and others it's kind of interesting. It's you think it's like all the way straight down, and then or you're in front of it, behind it, to the side, kind of thing. But some people have like part of their bodies are lined up, and other parts aren't. So that's just kind of reflective of certain areas of your life not being lined up. So you're not really fully lined up with yourself. Um, One thing that's the first thing that's showing up around that with the group is in terms of relationship. So, relationship is that what happens in the space between you and something else, whether it's a person, work, a job, an idea, things like any a physical object, anything. A person, dead or alive. So it's not just about interactions with people, how we relate with people, but it's how we relate uh, with anything in life. So that's bringing stuff to the surface. So that's good. So keep focusing on your breath and just focusing on that plumb line, and we'll work through just that alignment for everybody. Some people are not centered in their solar plexus area. So you kind of basically it's like kind of like this. Nobody's really straight on it quite well. So, and hey, Kayla just jumped in. Hello. So visualizing that plumb line straight through. Yeah, so solar plexus, commonly, the analogy for the solar plexus is owning our power, being in our power, being in that strength of our beings. So yeah, there's people have what's showing up in the group is a lot of junk in there. Uh, so if you've been abused, which say again, abuse is anything that takes you out of yourself and away from your alignment with yourself and off your path. So is abuse, basically, even if it's well intentioned, even if the person's going, this is in your best interest, kind of thing, but it's keeping you from being centered in yourself, really connecting in with yourself. It's abusing you. uh, Now there's part of that is that could be that you're allowing that to happen for numerous reasons. Sometimes we start having this vested interest in a particular thing in our life, having that or kind of thing. So it takes us away from ourselves, and we start kind of like, I really want this, or this is, I've been waiting to have this for so long, and all of a sudden it comes your way, and then it throws you out of alignment because you start kind of putting more importance on having that than on yourself. Uh, so that will throw you out of alignment. Or also in the reverse, resisting something. It's like you don't want to go in that direction. You don't want to do that, and yet there's this reason for you to do that is because it's in really takes you into alignment with yourself even more, brings you into uh, where you need to be to really shift into that alignment. And sometimes that shifting can be about things that we have to go through. So it's not really pleasant, but it gets us moving through what we need to, and then really coming into that deeper alignment. So all this doesn't necessarily feel good and happy, but it's about what's going to move us the quickest way, take us the fastest to where we need to be with ourselves. So sometimes we're resisting stuff, and instead of holding on, we're like pushing it away. So both of those uh, will take us out of alignment. Yeah, that's so clearing a lot of stuff for people. People will external people will push into you. And of course, there's always that inner reflection of or inner component um, with that as to why that's happening. So sometimes just need to like, okay, let me get this out of the way. Let me kind of shift that out, give myself that space, but then we need to come into ourselves and say, okay, why is this showing up for me? What is it inside of me that maybe I'm doing? Maybe I'm bringing this forth. Um, and it's the popular phrase takes two to tango, right? So that's one half of the puzzle is what puzzle piece is what's happening on the external, but then it's fitting into your puzzle piece within you. So what's that puzzle piece about? Yeah, that seems to kind of be helpful, kind of click in into a different way for people. See it as two puzzle pieces. It's like you've got yours is like that, and the other one's like that. Well, they fit in together, so it's like, all right, how do we shift that? What how do I change that shape here so that this one isn't come fitting into me so readily? So let's take another nice deep breath in. So oftentimes when we're moving smoothly forward in life is because we have that alignment to ourselves, basically. And things are just going smoothly because there's that flow. We're in that flow. We're in alignment with ourselves, and we're in that flow. And so, as I was saying at the beginning, it's like we hit these pockets, these moments, these periods where we feel like nothing's happening. It's like it's been the same shit for decades, for centuries, for years, for I don't know, for as long as it seems like it's been going on. And so usually there's something that's come up. There's a kink in the system, so to speak. And it's coming up to say this, so to talk about this, but it is possible, and it has happened. I've kind of worked with that to some extent, where it's working really smoothly for somebody because something else is coming in and rolling the dice for them, so to speak, is making them, is taking care of business behind them, behind their back, and it's not usually uh, not in a good way. Uh, People will sell themselves for, because they want so much of something, so much of success, or so much of proving themselves. So there's some connection in for the group here with that. And it can be hard. It can be tough because you're trying working so hard to move forward in your life, and this opportunity comes up, and it feels like, wow, okay, this is great, but opportunities are not always pure, and it really comes back to, putting yourself first, putting that alignment to your highest expression, and holding on to that and not selling out on that. And sometimes it just can be really hard because you've been working so hard at something and it doesn't seem to be budging for you, kind of thing. So there's certain things that have a tendency to, well, might depend on the person. I was about to say there's certain things that kind of tendency to trigger people more, like success, money, uh, proving themselves to their family, to whatever, that either they are worthy or that they are not like their families, kind of thing. That they're not going to be doing the same thing their family is. Relationship is the one that comes up a lot for people too, where they will sell out, sell themselves out. Um, to be better than, also kind of equation. Let's take a deep breath into that, coming into that, again, bringing up that image of that plumb line. So people are doing much better than we were at the beginning. Not so much this wiggling around that plumb line back and forth. And we're also going to take some time to anchor the whole group in, to bring that into anchoring. So it's more solid for you with this centering. Now, that plumb line is about being centered on yourself. If you've got people pushing into you or kind of plugging into you for a juice, so to speak, energetically, that's going to throw you off. That's going to, so now another piece that's coming up here. So yeah, first, before I go into that, grounding, anchoring that grounding so that it gets anchored. Hey, Ilaria, good to see you. So just breathing in. Yeah, I'm just going to anchor the group before we go on to the next one. And again, just feeling that plumb line and just having that image in your mind. Okay, the next piece that's really showing up is the headspace, the mental space. and allowing the mind to just go jump all over the place and not giving ourselves enough time to just step out of that thinking. And it's not just thinking, it's runaround. Um, so that plumb line even going right through the head, really just lining everything. We get so well trained into responding to an external person or thing, people coming at us with something and responding back, for example. And sometimes we just need to just look at them and walk away, not engage. And probably for some people, a lot of times we need to be doing that. Yeah, there's a lot of pecking at going on, people said. So just breathing into that plumb line. Sometimes it can be the death space or the space of the dead. Um, you get a lot of like dead people, or whether it could be family or it could be just dead people that are in a certain area because they haven't transitioned properly and kind of hanging around. So that can be that feels like that's throwing off some people as well. Again, just coming into that plumb line. Going all the way through, out the top, past the top of the head, all the way right through you. If you want to say it this way, I can say it's coming through from pure source, hooked into pure source, coming right through you and hooked into on the other end to into the new earth, to the core of the earth there. Yeah, much better, much better for everybody. Wow, the earth. I was just sitting with that new earth, because it's for about a year now. It's been, well, actually, a year and a half. Um, for me, it's really been about the new earth. I'm really focusing on the new earth, and uh, and really emphasizing that, especially more recently, of really making sure to say the new earth instead of just earth. Uh, and s- there's been a really recent shift. This is the first day I'm feeling it, that it's actually okay to say the earth again. That, and the reason I say that is because I was really feeling that when people were saying it, and so I kept saying the new earth because when I was hearing people say the new earth, so like, you're hooking into the wrong thing there, and you're gonna get distorted. You're not gonna connect into where you're wanting to connect into, and even connecting people into the new earth. felt very different, very vibrant, vital, and connecting them into the earth was just, it was like a dead end kind of thing. And it's very interesting because today is actually the first day I'm noticing that it's, you can come back into saying the earth, and because there's been a good shift, and I have that just tuning into the earth. um there's a vibrancy and a power, that strength that's really coming through, that hasn't been coming through with just the earth. So that's really cool to see. And the earth is about nature, is about the power of nature. And so all of this weather mayhem that we've been having has been about that reestablishing the natural order. And the more people try to like exert their control and domination over the weather, things like the weather, the more buildup there's been, the more nature's been like, saying, basically saying, fuck you. You're not gonna do this, period. And taking back control of things. But there's a real, I wonder if this same shift will take place with religions. Well, it's taking place with everything. I mean, you know that. Um, you are really stuck with this religious thing. And I mean, you can wait for the whole religious paradigm to shift if you want, but you're going to have to shift yourself, and you're going to have to make that decision. How you play out that decision in your life is a separate question, because you are really been too stuck in that place of, if I hold on to what's true for me, then it's got to show up this way. It means XYZ, and you're holding yourself captive. I know you don't want to hear that, and you would like to have it just go smooth and easy and everything just keep as is. But I think where it's at, and that. So you're waiting for the external to shift so that it's okay for you to be who you are. You can never get there. Is that bottom line for you? So you have to make that decision for yourself and then see how it plays out. People have been waiting for 2,000 plus years for that big event known as the coming back of Christ, the coming of Christ, or return, whatever, depending on which religion you're in. It's how long you want to wait. That's a hell of a long time, and it's probably been waited for even longer than that. You can probably go further back in human history, known and unknown, for that big external. I mean, I've got New Age friends that are still saying, it's going to happen on this day. There's going to be this day. I mean, literally, like, it's going to be a specific day. It's not the second coming of Christ, but it is that same reference point. The awakening, I forget the other terms they use, but it's going to happen on a specific day. It's like, no, that's just a fallacy. And that's being used against people to keep them just boxed in. So that external thing, when this hits, there's going to be that specific turning point where it's going to happen. and either it's already happened or it's happening at another time, or it's usually this unfolding process, not its specific date. So let's all breathe into that. Coming back into that plumb line. You can't wait for the external to dictate, to let you know that it's time. You start now. And it's not that necessarily what you're intending will happen immediately when you make that step in that direction. It might happen later. It might need to fall, all these things might need to line up for whatever to happen, but you can't wait until you get to that end point for things to change. You start working now with it. You start saying, okay, I'm going to be here. And then, and then you move forward for yourself. Otherwise, it's like being in a holding cell, basically. Another nice deep breath in. So that's clearing some more stuff with people. We've got a little bit more that's still showing up. Some people are just having a hard time moving forward right now and getting moving on stuff. So that's a little bit of holding back. So let's work with that. So nice deep breath in, coming into that. Again, that plumb line. Everybody's doing much better, much more aligned. There's still a little bit of wiggling, but it's not really big snaking movements. It's a little bit off, but it's much better. Okay, let's see what that's about. We've got some nice big chains around people's feet. There's family paradigm that's showing up on this one. See if there's anything else. That's the first piece. We'll see if there's anything else that shows up for people around that. But it seems like family paradigms is the big one. Word expectation comes to that. So whether it's our expectation for ourselves or the expectation from outside ourselves, that's that coming from the family, expecting us to be a certain way, or we're expecting to for it to be a certain way. There's a lot of wanting it to be a certain way that's showing up too. We probably can all relate to both of those in some way or not another. And I'm actually there's dead family members that are like waiting around, that are standing around now. I don't know, waiting. They're standing around because it's like, okay, this has got to happen this way, and waiting on people in the group here. So your respective families, not just the living, also the people who are died, kind of transition. They haven't really transitioned over because they're still hanging out, and that's not really the best situation for in general, because there hasn't been a letting go that has happened that needs to happen. Um, One side or the other, or both sides. Um, Things. It's like we really have we in a lot of cultures, especially modern culture, we don't learn to let go and to when something comes to an end to just let it go. And when a person departs, leaves, dies, transitions over, holding on to anything that's theirs and not wanting to do anything with those objects because it's that person. And for some people it gets so intense that it's like that object becomes that person, and anything that happens to that object is happening to that person, but that person is not non-existent, because we're talking about the human part of the person. That's always temporary. That never lasts. The only place that lasts is in the human level of existence, which is such a finite part, minuscule, finite part of the whole of existence. But the true essence of the person is what shifts and releases. And a lot of times when people don't transition over properly, is you got people who are just holding on to them, like, and a lot of times just through objects, through memories, through what they meant to them. So we have to, and it's not about just giving up that stuff, but holding that lightly, uh, with a uh, lightness of being with that. So nice deep breath into that. Yeah, we don't really have time. I don't think we have time to really shift that for people. It's coming more to the surface for people, but it's not hasn't cleared out completely. And I have this sense that it's going to take a bit more work for everybody here. So we'll just open up the way to make that weight really obvious so that you can know why it's there, what it's about, and step out of it for yourself. There's a piece around poverty, family poverty, the family line having been in poverty that's coming up as one piece. So this is a little bit more than just you. It's not like this is about the whole family line kind of thing and family paradigm. Uh, However, if you're on the call, if you're listening to this, it's fallen on you to shift it. And the reason it's fallen on you is because you've come to a place in yourself where you're now aware of it. So it's time to, like, okay, just step up to the plate and just shift through that. So again, taking a look. So those changes are loosening up, but there's still that piece for you to really get clear on, open up and get clear about, and to step out of for yourself. Nothing is lost in doing that. No one is hurt in doing that. In fact, quite the opposite. It will free everyone up, basically, everyone who's a link on that chain. We're talking big fat chains. These are not just like these little light chains. These are pretty heavy chains. So big piece to move through. I think that's holding true for just about everybody on the call. But this is a piece to step beyond, really work through and step beyond. And I since I worked with some of you on the call, I know that you have been working on it, so I want to acknowledge that. And it's another big chunk there for you. So, not to say that you have not done anything, because I know that's not true for the people I've worked on. At least I can personally say that. But okay, very nice. Take a nice deep breath in. Let's really come into that plumb line again, focusing on that plumb line, bringing that through, feeling that alignment. Very nice. Very good. It's like a little spinning top, right? There's that right through you, and you're just moving around. Moving and just on that axis, straight up and down. Pretty good. Everybody's doing pretty well there. Much better than at the beginning. So very nice. So yeah, good work everybody today. For anybody who's interested, who's new to me, you can check out my website. On Instagram, just go to the link in the bio and click on that, and then you can take a look at if you want to, if you're interested in doing session work, or also I have some audios and just other and my blog piece if you're interested. And on the other channels, just go to my website unboundedandfree.com, and you can take a look at that. Do individual sessions for people. Thanks, Marianne. That was all very relevant. Yes, I know you've been working hard to get through that, and you're welcome. Welcome, everybody, and thank you all for stopping in. It's fun. It's always fun to do this in a group. Deep clearing here. Oh, good for you. Yeah. So very good. Well, we'll be back next Wednesday, as always. Heading into summer here pretty soon. So hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world, and see you in the ethers. See you next Wednesday if you show up here, and wherever else we connect. So take care, everybody.